Introduction: The New Era of Rich Thinking. From Think and Grow Rich in the Modern World by Imperium Audiobooks. They say Napoleon Hill wrote the greatest financial philosophy of all time: think and grow rich. But what happens when that philosophy meets the world of today? The digital age, where information is infinite, distractions are everywhere, and success looks different for everyone. That's what this book is about. It's about translating timeless principles into today's reality. Because while the world has changed, algorithms, AI, social media, cryptocurrencies, global markets, the laws of wealth have not. They've only evolved in how they're applied. The truth is, most people today don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're mentally overloaded. They're scrolling more than they're thinking. They're consuming more than they're creating. They chase opportunities instead of developing the mindset that attracts them. Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But in the modern world, the mind must first learn to focus. You are about to discover the new psychology of wealth. How to think like a millionaire in a digital economy. How to build discipline in a distracted age. How to grow your influence, your network, and your financial foundation, even if you're starting with nothing. This isn't about motivation. It's about mental engineering, rewiring your thought process to attract success automatically. Each chapter in this audiobook will take a timeless principle from Think and Grow Rich and translate it into actionable modern steps. White heavy checkmark: How desire becomes digital opportunity. White heavy checkmark: How persistence becomes online authority. White heavy checkmark: How specialized knowledge becomes personal branding. White heavy checkmark: And how faith becomes strategy. This is the bridge between old wealth thinking and modern wealth creation. It's for the creators, the thinkers, the dreamers, the ones who want to build something real in a world obsessed with speed. So as you listen, don't just take notes. Reflect, visualize, and most importantly, act. Because the greatest wealth you can create begins in your thoughts, but it's proven through your habits. This is Think and Grow Rich in the Modern World. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Power of Modern Desire. In every age, every revolution, every new empire, it begins with desire. Napoleon Hill called it the starting point of all achievement. But in today's world, desire isn't just a fire burning inside you. It's a signal you send into a noisy digital universe. And the strength, clarity, and consistency of that signal determine who hears you, who trusts you, and what opportunities find you. You see, in the modern world, desire has become data. Every click, every search, every video you watch tells the algorithm what you crave. The question is, are you consciously programming your mind the same way you program your feed? Or are you letting the world decide your desires for you? Because if your mind is constantly reacting to trends, you'll always live in survival mode, chasing, not creating. The wealthy have learned the opposite: to control their focus, to define their own metrics of success, and to amplify their desire until it becomes unshakable. The modern meaning of desire. Today, people confuse interest with desire. Interest fades when it gets hard. Desire evolves when it gets tested. Interest says, "I'll try." Desire says, "I must." Modern desire is built on 3 layers. Clarity, knowing exactly what you want. Conviction, believing you deserve it. Consistency, acting on it even when no one's watching. The truth? Most people never get past the first. They want wealth, but they can't define what that means. Is it financial freedom? Time freedom? Legacy? Influence? Until you define your version of wealth, your subconscious can't move toward it. It only drifts. So, the first practical step is this. Write down your true desire in 1 sentence. Not, "I want to be rich," but "I want to build digital products that earn passive income and allow me to work from anywhere by 2027. See the difference? One is vague. The other is a map. Why clarity creates power. In the digital age, attention is currency. The clearer your vision, the more energy your mind channels into a single path. It's like having 100 tabs open in your mental browser. Once you close the unnecessary ones, your focus accelerates. Rich thinkers live with mental clarity. They're not scattered between 10 opportunities. They commit to one and refine it until it prints results. When you know what you want, your decisions align. Your network aligns. Your energy aligns. And soon, your environment begins to reflect that internal focus. That's not magic. That's neuroplasticity. Your brain reorganizes itself around what you think about most. The more you feed at a specific goal, the stronger the neural pathways become. Eventually, your subconscious does the work for you, filtering distractions, identifying patterns, and guiding your choices toward that outcome, turning desire into discipline. Desire without discipline dies in distraction. The modern world rewards quick dopamine, likes, views, and applause. But wealth requires delayed gratification. The rich turn desire into daily discipline. They schedule their success habits like meetings with destiny. Start small. 30 minutes of learning daily. One clear goal every morning. One uncomfortable action that moves you forward. These habits rewire your brain to associate discomfort with progress. Over time, discipline becomes identity, and desire becomes destiny. Remember, you are not what you want. You are what you repeat. Desire in the digital economy. Here's the twist. In the digital era, desire has leverage. You could transform passion into profit faster than ever before if you know how to direct your energy. You can create content, build communities, sell knowledge, or design tools that solve problems worldwide. But here's the key. Your desire must add value. Money flows to usefulness. If your desire is only self-serving, it collapses. If it serves others, it scales. Ask yourself, does my desire solve someone's problem? If yes, you found your modern goldmine. A mentorship reflection. Let's get real for a moment. I've seen countless people chase wealth like it's a sprint. They burn out before they even build a foundation. But those who win treat desire like a craft. They nurture it. They study it. They let it evolve into strategy. Think of desire like a muscle. Every day you delay your goals, that muscle weakens. Every day you act with intent, it grows stronger. Eventually, it carries the weight of your vision. The challenge for you, right now, pause this audiobook and write your 3 sentences. What do I truly want? Why do I want it? Who else benefits when I achieve it? If you can answer those 3 honestly, your journey has already begun. Because that's the truth of modern success. The rich don't have more time or luck. They have stronger, clearer desires. You've just built the foundation of your wealth blueprint. Now it's time to stack on top of it. In the next chapter, we'll dive into faith in the modern world, building unshakable belief when the odds are against you. Chapter 2, Faith in the Modern World, building unshakable belief when the odds are against you. Faith. It's a word that's thrown around too lightly, a motivational poster, a caption under a sunrise. But in the modern world, faith is not softness. It's strategy. It's the unbreakable code that separates the dreamers from the doers. Napoleon Hill once said, "Faith is the head chemist of the mind." In other words, it's the element that transforms thought into power. Without faith, desire remains a wish. But with it, desire becomes command, a mental order the universe and your subconscious can't ignore. Today, we live in a culture that worships instant validation. Everything is measurable: views, clicks, engagement, reach. People want to see proof before they believe. But faith flips that logic. It demands belief before evidence. And that's what makes it powerful. The truth? The modern world has made faith harder, but also more essential. When everything around you screams, impossible, your belief becomes your rebellion. The new battle for belief. Let's face it, your mind is under siege. Every day, you're exposed to thousands of micro-messages telling you what you can't do, what you don't have, and why it's too late. You scroll past people's highlight reels and mistake them for reality. You compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 and call it failure. And this constant flood of information chips away at belief. But here's what the rich, the resilient, and the relentless understand. Faith isn't about ignoring reality. It's about reprogramming your perception of it. Because reality isn't fixed. It's filtered. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. If your mind is conditioned for scarcity, you'll find obstacles. If your mind is conditioned for abundance, you'll find angles. Faith trains your perception to search for opportunity, not opposition. Belief as a mental technology. Think of faith as mental software. When your mind runs on doubt, your system slows down. You hesitate, you question, you sabotage. But when your system runs on belief, you execute faster. You see possibilities others miss. You persist longer than most people think reasonable. Modern achievers understand this. They don't rely solely on logic. Logic tells you what's probable. Faith tells you what's possible. Steve Jobs believed people would hold a computer in their hand before anyone else saw it. Elon Musk believed we could colonize Mars while everyone laughed. These weren't fantasies. They were acts of faith anchored by action. That's the key. Faith without action is delusion. Action without faith is burnout. But when you combine the two, belief plus effort, you enter what psychologists call the flow state of creation, reprogramming the mind. So how do you build faith in a world built on doubt? You reprogram your subconscious. Hill was right when he said, faith is a state of mind which may be induced by repeated affirmations. In modern language, what you tell yourself daily becomes your operating system. Try this. Every morning, speak your goals as certainties, not wishes. Don't say, I hope I'll make 6 figures. Say, I am building a business that earns 6 figures and impacts lives. You're not lying to yourself. You're instructing your subconscious to find alignment. Over time, the brain starts looking for proof to support that identity. That's how neuroplasticity works. Your subconscious doesn't respond to hope. It responds to repetition. Faith grows through evidence you create. Small wins, one sale, one connection, one result stack into belief. And that belief compounds like interest. Faith versus fear. Let's strip this down to its essence. Faith and fear are both imaginations about the future. One builds momentum, the other drains it. Every time you choose faith, you expand your future. Every time you choose fear, you shrink it. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith replies, what if I fly? The rich don't have less fear. They've just trained their faith to speak louder. Anchoring faith in reality. Here's a truth that many miss. Faith doesn't mean denial. It means alignment. If you say you believe you'll succeed but spend your time doubting, scrolling, and complaining, that's not faith. That's fantasy. Faith is proven by your preparation. It's the person who studies the market when no one's watching. It's the content creator who posts daily without applause. It's the entrepreneur who reinvests profits instead of showing off. Faith is the quiet work behind loud results. So how do you make faith tangible? By building evidence systems. Keep a faith journal. Write down 3 moments each day when something went right, even small wins. This rewires your brain to notice progress. Surround yourself with believers, not critics. Faith multiplies in the right environment. Use visualization as training. Picture your ideal life in cinematic detail daily. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagined and real emotion. Faith in the digital age. Today, algorithms decide what you see, but you decide what you believe. Don't feed your mind negativity, gossip, or scarcity. Curate your digital diet the same way you curate your meals. Follow creators who challenge you to grow. Listen to mentors who speak vision, not fear. Read stories that remind you what's possible. Because in this era, faith must be protected. It's not automatic. It's intentional. A conversation with your future self. Imagine this. 5 years from now, you're sitting in your dream office. Your business is thriving. Your life feels aligned. You look back at this very moment, the one where you could have quit but didn't. That version of you is proud because you kept believing. You planted faith where most people planted excuses. That's the secret. Faith is not loud. It's loyal. When you hold it long enough, it becomes visible to the world. Faith is the bridge between your vision and your victory. It doesn't guarantee ease. It guarantees direction. And in this modern world of noise, distraction, and doubt, faith is your competitive edge. In the next chapter, We'll explore persistence in a fast-paced world. How to stay consistent when everyone else quits. Chapter 3. Persistence in a fast-paced world. How to stay consistent when everyone else quits. In every generation, there's one truth that never dies. The world rewards those who don't stop. Napoleon Hill called persistence the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. In the modern world, where attention is the most fragile currency, persistence isn't just effort, it's a superpower. Today, people chase quick wins. They want virality, not mastery. They start projects, podcasts, businesses, and brands, but abandon them the moment results don't appear in a week. Yet, the secret of modern wealth isn't in starting fast. It's in staying long enough to master the invisible game. Persistence is what transforms average ideas into empires. The myth of instant success. Let's get brutally honest. Social media has rewritten people's patience. You see a 20-year-old millionaire on TikTok, and you think you're behind. You scroll past luxury lifestyles and forget that 99% of those images are staged or leveraged on credit. Here's the truth. Real success is slow, methodical, and often silent. The wealthiest people you know didn't go viral, they went consistent. They built slowly, brick by brick, while the impatient burn out chasing hype. The problem today isn't lack of ambition, it's lack of stamina. Persistence means showing up when the mood fades. It's when discipline takes the wheel and motivation becomes irrelevant. It's waking up early when no one's clapping, posting content that gets no likes but plants long-term seeds, making cold calls when your ego says stop. The world doesn't remember who started, it remembers who stayed. The law of compounding consistency. Persistence and compounding are twins. Every small effort you repeat builds invisible momentum. The gym doesn't reward the first 10 workouts, it rewards the 100th. Your brand doesn't explode after one video. It grows through 200 that no one saw. Every repetition whispers to the universe, I'm still here. In business, consistency builds trust. People trust what they can predict. If you show up regularly, with quality, authenticity, and vision, you become a mental anchor in your audience's mind. And one day, that consistency turns into conversion, collaboration, or capital. The rich understand this. Momentum is money. The psychology of not quitting. Here's what most people miss. Persistence isn't just physical, it's psychological endurance. When you want to quit, your brain floods with logical reasons to justify it. It's not working. No one cares. It's not for me. But persistence is emotional management, the ability to move forward despite emotional resistance. Winners have trained their mind to interpret failure differently. Where others see proof to stop, they see data to improve. It's not about ignoring fatigue or burnout. It's about mastering recovery, the art of resetting your energy without abandoning your vision. So when you hit a wall, don't quit. Pause strategically. Reassess. Recharge. Then return sharper. Digital persistence. Staying consistent online. In today's world, your visibility is your credibility. But visibility requires persistence. The algorithm rewards consistency. The audience rewards reliability. An opportunity rewards endurance. If you post once in a while, you vanish in the noise. But if you post consistently, with value, not vanity, you become part of the ecosystem people depend on. The modern millionaire doesn't chase trends, they outlast them. Remember, persistence online isn't just about quantity, it's about presence. When your message stays clear across time, platforms, and pivots, people begin to see you as authority. The longer you stay in the game, the rarer you become, because most people quit too soon, turning frustration into fuel. Every person who ever built something remarkable went through a phase where quitting felt logical. But they didn't stop because they understood a principle few live by. Frustration is feedback, not failure. When you feel stuck, it means your growth is trying to upgrade your method. Persistence isn't about doing the same thing forever. It's about refusing to give up while evolving your approach. Ask yourself, what's the lesson hidden in this obstacle? How can I adjust without abandoning my direction? That's what separates the successful. They adapt without retreating, building systems that sustain you. Persistence doesn't mean burnout. It means structure. The wealthiest people in the modern world don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. They automate discipline. They design their environment to make success easier. Here's how. Create time blocks for high-impact tasks. Remove distractions by eliminating unnecessary apps and notifications. Keep a consistency tracker. One task per day, no excuses. When your systems are strong, your motivation becomes irrelevant. Mentorship insight, the 100-hour rule. Here's a principle I've seen work repeatedly. I call it the 100-hour rule. If you spend just 100 hours a year, that's 18 minutes a day, mastering a skill, you'll be in the top 5% globally in that domain. That's the power of persistence in numbers. Tiny investments of consistent effort compound into elite performance. So instead of saying, I'll go all in when I'm ready, say, I'll give my 18 minutes today. Because mastery isn't built in a moment. It's built in minutes, multiplied daily. Resilience in the modern storm. We live in an era where everything moves faster. Markets, trends, technology, attention spans. But amidst all that chaos, there's one timeless truth. Consistency beats intensity. Everyone can be intense for a day. Few can be consistent for a decade. Persistence isn't sexy, it's silent. It's the late nights no one claps for. It's the mornings when your dream feels far. But those moments are what mold character. If you can remain consistent when others crumble, you win by default. Your challenge. Here's your assignment. Write this somewhere visible. I do not stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. Then take one goal and commit to it for 90 days. No breaks, no excuses, no shortcuts. Post, build, refine, learn. You'll be shocked at what compounds. Because in this fast, distracted, impatient world, persistence is the last real advantage. Chapter 4. Specialized knowledge in the modern market. How to turn what you know into income. The richest people today aren't just working hard. They're working smart, and more importantly, they're working specific. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action." In other words, general knowledge makes you useful. Specialized knowledge makes you wealthy. We live in the greatest information era in human history. Anyone with a smartphone has access to more data than entire universities had 50 years ago. Yet, paradoxically, more people are broke, confused, and overwhelmed. Why? Because information isn't power, application is. The modern world doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you can do with what you know. The death of general knowledge. Once upon a time, being a jack of all trades was admirable. But today, the digital world has billions of generalists. You can't stand out by knowing a bit of everything. The algorithm ignores mediocrity. The marketplace doesn't pay for average. Wealth now flows to the specialists, the ones who go deep instead of wide. It's the person who doesn't just know marketing, but understands storytelling that converts. Not just someone who can code, but someone who builds automation that saves businesses time and money. Not just a writer, but a strategic communicator who drives emotion and action. General knowledge is free. YouTube has it. Specialized knowledge is rare, and rare is valuable. If you're serious about building modern wealth, you must identify and refine the one skill that the market can't ignore. The modern gold rush, monetizing expertise. There's a digital gold rush happening right now, not of land or oil, but of knowledge. Coaching, consulting, online courses, AI tools, and digital products have turned ideas into industries. The question is no longer do I have value, but how do I package and position it? If you can help people, save time, make money, improve health, strengthen relationships, or find clarity, you have a monetizable skill. The difference between the broke expert and the wealthy one is positioning. The broke expert says, I know a lot. The wealthy one says, I solve this specific problem for this specific person. Clarity pays. So ask yourself, what do I know that solves a real problem? Then build systems, courses, communities, or services that deliver that knowledge efficiently. From learning to earning. There's a dangerous illusion in our age. People believe consuming information equals progress. They binge tutorials, watch webinars, read threads, and feel productive. But unless that knowledge is executed, it's just entertainment. Here's the truth. You don't need more knowledge. You need more focused implementation. Choose one skill and commit to 12 months of mastery. That's it. 12 months of obsession will put you ahead of 95% of people who dabble. Because while they chase trends, you'll be building transferable excellence. Once you become known for one thing, people start trusting you with everything. The 3 phases of specialized knowledge. Learning phase, you absorb. You study. You fail fast. This is where humility matters most. Be willing to be a beginner again. Follow people already doing what you want to do. Invest in courses, books, or mentorship, not as expenses, but as acceleration. Application phase, you execute. You build, test, and teach. The act of teaching others accelerates your learning curve tenfold. Start sharing insights online, posts, podcasts, short videos. When you teach, you position yourself as authority. Monetization phase, you scale. Once you have proof of results, you turn knowledge into systems, coaching, courses, content, or consulting. Structure what you've learned into processes that others can easily adopt. That's how specialized knowledge multiplies. From learning to earning to impacting. The knowledge gap advantage. Here's something powerful most people overlook. Every expert was once confused. That gap between where you were and where you are now, that's your value gap. People will pay to shorten that same journey for themselves. If you struggled with something for years and finally figured out, congratulations, you just discovered a product. Turn your pain into process. Turn your confusion into clarity. Turn your experience into education. That's the modern way to wealth. Why the rich keep learning. There's a reason the rich keep winning. They never stop learning. But their learning isn't random, it's strategic. They don't scroll for entertainment. They scroll for insights. They don't consume for validation. They consume for evolution. Most people read for comfort. The rich read for leverage. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading because he understands that one good idea can change the trajectory of everything. In the modern world, information is a multiplier if you know how to connect it. Mentorship insight. Learn, apply, teach. One of the fastest ways to master anything is through the learn, apply, teach cycle. Learn something new daily. Apply it immediately, even in small ways. Teach it publicly through a post, a thread, or a conversation. When you teach, you don't just share information, you clarify it in your own mind. You also attract the kind of audience and opportunities that align with your expertise. In time, you'll realize you're no longer chasing opportunities. Opportunities are chasing you. Action steps, your knowledge audit. Let's get practical. Take out a notebook and write these questions. What skills come naturally to me? What do people often ask me for help with? What results have I achieved that others want? What problems do I love solving? Once you answer these, circle the intersection. That's your zone of profit. Then, outline how to turn that zone into value for others. Build a framework. Create digital assets. Offer transformation, not just information. Final thought. Knowledge in the modern world is the new land. The ones who stake it, cultivate it, and trade it wisely become the new aristocrats of the information age. You don't need a degree. You don't need permission. You need precision. The future belongs to those who know something rare and use it well. In the next chapter, we'll explore the power of imagination in wealth creation. How to envision ideas that turn into income. Chapter 5. The power of imagination in wealth creation. How to envision ideas that turn into income. From Think and Grow Rich in the Modern World by Imperium Audiobooks. There's a moment in every great wealth story where logic stops and imagination takes over. It's that invisible bridge between what is and what could be. Every invention, every fortune, every breakthrough began as an idea, a vision that didn't exist yet except in someone's mind. Napoleon Hill called imagination the workshop of the mind. But in today's world, it's not just a workshop, it's your personal wealth engine. Your imagination is where you sculpt your future before the world ever sees it. Imagination, the new currency. We live in a world where information is abundant but originality is scarce. Artificial intelligence, automation, and algorithms are replacing repetitive jobs at light speed. But what machines can't replicate, at least not yet, is imagination. The rich don't just work harder, they think differently. They look at what everyone else sees, but visualize what no one else does. Think about Elon Musk staring at the night sky and seeing Mars as the next neighborhood. Or Sarah Blakely turning a simple frustration with pantyhose into Spanx, a billion-dollar brand. Or a broke college dropout named Steve Jobs who imagined a computer as beautiful as art. Imagination isn't fantasy. It's the ability to see the invisible and build the impossible. That's the foundation of wealth. The two types of imagination. Hill identified two types, and both are still crucial today. Synthetic imagination. This is when you rearrange old concepts into new combinations. You don't create from nothing. You connect what already exists in a new way. Think of how Uber didn't invent cars or smartphones. It combined them with digital maps and payment systems to create a new experience. Synthetic imagination is what turns familiarity into fortune. Creative imagination. This is deeper. It's the birthplace of innovation. It's when ideas come seemingly from nowhere, flowing through intuition, dreams, or insight. Every groundbreaking idea, from the airplane to the smartphone, began in this space. Creative imagination is where the impossible becomes practical. Both are valuable. The richest creators in the modern world know how to move between them, combining logic and intuition, systems and spirit. From vision to execution. Here's the hard truth. Imagination without execution is hallucination. You can dream all day, but unless you act, you'll just build castles in your head. The real power lies in turning what you see in your mind into something tangible in the world. To do that, you must capture and clarify your vision. Here's a practical process the wealthy use every day. Document your ideas. Carry a digital or physical notebook. When inspiration strikes, write it down. Don't trust memory, trust systems. A single note could become your next business, product, or book. Validate fast. Don't romanticize every idea. Test quickly. Ask, does this solve a problem? Would someone pay for this? Wealthy thinkers move fast, not recklessly, but decisively. Prototype in public. You don't need perfection to start, just proof. Launch a simple version, gather feedback, refine. That's how modern fortunes are built, not from perfect ideas, but from tested ones. Imagination requires solitude. Here's something most people won't tell you. Imagination grows in silence. If your mind is constantly flooded with noise, social media, notifications, endless consumption, you kill the very space creativity needs to breathe. Every wealthy visionary has a thinking routine. They schedule time for stillness. No phone, no distractions, just thought. Steve Jobs would take long walks. Bill Gates would disappear for think weeks. Oprah journals every morning. In silence, ideas expand. In noise, they die. So, schedule your solitude. Because your next million-dollar idea won't shout. It'll whisper, turning imagination into leverage. You don't get rich by ideas alone. You get rich by leveraging them. Leverage means using imagination to multiply output without multiplying effort. You can use imagination to create leverage in 4 powerful ways. Digital leverage. Build systems, online courses, content, or software that work for you while you sleep. Network leverage. Partner with people who can amplify your idea. The right collaboration can turn imagination into a movement. Brand leverage. Use storytelling to build emotional connection. The right narrative makes your idea unforgettable. Financial leverage. Reinvest profits into scalable systems, not lifestyle. Imagination is the seed, but leverage is the sunlight that helps it grow. Fear, the killer of imagination. The biggest enemy of creative thinking isn't failure, it's fear. Fear of judgment, fear of looking foolish, fear of wasting time. But here's what every self-made millionaire eventually learns. The cost of inaction is always higher than the cost of imperfection. The poor wait for permission. The rich create momentum. Your imagination dies when you care too much about opinions that don't pay your bills. So build in silence. Share when ready. And remember, you're not competing with others. You're competing with your own hesitation. Mentorship insight. Train your imagination daily. Just like muscles, imagination grows when you use it. Here's a 10-minute daily routine used by many high achievers. Morning visualization, 3 minutes. Close your eyes and picture your future vividly. The work, the impact, the lifestyle. Feel is real. Problem solving for minutes. Pick one problem in your business or life and ask, what's one creative way to solve this today? Vision journal, 3 minutes. Write any new ideas that come to mind. No editing, just flow. Do this consistently for 30 days. You'll notice ideas appearing more often and solutions coming faster. That's not magic. It's mental conditioning. Action steps. Build your idea engine. To put this chapter into practice, here's a 3-step blueprint. Idea capture system. Use a single notebook or app to collect all your ideas in one place. Review weekly. Weekly think hour. Block 1 hour every week to disconnect, think, and design, not just react. Rapid testing habit. Pick one idea every month to test in the real world. Don't wait until it's perfect. Launch, learn, adjust. Because imagination without speed is just a dream. But imagination with action, that's destiny. Final thought. The world doesn't reward those who wait to be inspired. It rewards those who create inspiration through discipline, clarity, and execution. Your imagination is the preview of your destiny. Everything you want, the freedom, the success, the abundance, begins as a single thought you dare to believe. So guard your imagination. Feed it daily. And most importantly, act on what it shows you. Chapter 6. Decision and Discipline. The Hidden Wealth Habits of Millionaires from Think and Grow Rich in the Modern World by Imperium Audiobooks. When you study the wealthy, not just the famous, but the quietly powerful, you'll notice a common pattern. They move differently. They decide faster. They stick longer. And when others hesitate, they act with clarity that seems almost supernatural. But here's the truth. There's nothing mystical about it. Their secret isn't luck or timing. It's decision and discipline. These two habits, working together, form the invisible backbone of every fortune ever built. Decision, the starting point of wealth. Every turning point in your life will come down to a single decision, to commit, to act, to move. Napoleon Hill wrote, "People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of indecision." That's just as true today as it was in 1937, maybe even more so. In an age where we have endless options, endless distractions, and infinite noise, the ability to decide is a superpower. The rich aren't necessarily smarter. They're just more decisive. They make decisions fast and change them slowly. The poor, on the other hand, make decisions slowly and change them fast, usually because of fear, doubt, or the opinions of others. Why decisiveness matters? Every opportunity has an expiration date. While most people are still thinking, the decisive ones are doing. The wealthy understand that perfect timing is an illusion. They know that clarity comes from motion, not overthinking. When you move, you learn. When you hesitate, you lose momentum. The rich train their minds to say, "I'll figure it out on the way." Because wealth doesn't come to those who wait for perfect conditions. It comes to those who make imperfect moves in the right direction. How to train decisiveness? Simplify choices. Too many options paralyze the brain. Limit your focus to what moves the needle. Set deadlines for decisions. Give yourself a maximum of 24 hours to decide on anything that matters. Fast decision-making sharpens intuition. Detach from outcome. Stop needing every move to be perfect. The goal is progress, not perfection. Trust data and instinct. The best decisions come from a balance between logic and gut. Learn to listen to both. The wealthy don't fear being wrong. They fear standing still. Discipline, the wealth multiplier. If decision is the spark, discipline is the flame that keeps your vision alive when the initial excitement fades. Discipline is what separates dreamers from achievers, wishers from winners. Every entrepreneur, investor, and creator you admire had to master one thing: consistency. Discipline is not about motivation. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. When your mood dips, when results lag, when distractions tempt you, discipline is what keeps you on course. Building millionaire discipline. Let's be real, discipline doesn't come naturally. It's trained, built, and reinforced like a muscle. Here's how the modern rich cultivate it daily. The power of routine. Wealthy people operate by systems, not emotions. Their morning, their work blocks, their downtime, all are intentional. Guarding energy. They say no more often than they say yes. Not every opportunity deserves attention. Focus is a filter for fortune. Measuring progress. The rich track metrics, money, habits, health, and time. They don't guess, they measure. What gets measured improves. Accountability. Whether through mentors, coaches, or peer groups, they surround themselves with people who challenge them to stay consistent. Discipline thrives in structure. And structure isn't restriction, it's freedom disguised as order. The psychology behind discipline. The mind resists change. It craves comfort and routine, even if that routine keeps you broke or stuck. That's why you must rewire your relationship with discomfort. Most people run from it. The wealthy lean into it. They see discomfort as data, feedback that growth is happening. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-image upgrades. And that's the real secret of discipline. It's not about forcing yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you can be trusted. The moment you start doing what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, you begin to think and act like the rich. Micro-discipline, the hidden edge. Most people think discipline means massive effort. But the wealthy know it's about micro-discipline, small actions done with relentless consistency. Reading 10 pages a day, investing a fixed amount every month, waking up 1 hour earlier to learn or plan, making one strategic connection a week. Each act feels small, but compounded over time, they transform your entire trajectory. Wealth is never built overnight. It's built every night through small, consistent habits no one sees. The link between decision and discipline. Decision starts the journey. Discipline finishes it. One without the other collapses. A decision without discipline fades into regret. Discipline without decision is directionless effort. When you combine both, you create unstoppable momentum. And that's what the rich ride on. The wealthy decide who they want to be, then discipline themselves into becoming that person. Mentor's moment. Train like the elite. If you want to live like the 1%, you must think and act like them daily. Here's a practical training system. Morning Power Hour. The first hour of your day sets the tone for the next 23. Use it for clarity, learning, and planning, not scrolling. Decision log. Write down 3 important decisions you make each week. Review outcomes monthly. You'll start to notice patterns and improvement. Discipline challenge. Pick one habit to do every day for 30 days. No excuses, no breaks. The goal isn't perfection. It's proof that you can trust your own word. End of day audit. Ask, did I honor my priorities today? Awareness builds accountability. Final word. In the end, every great fortune is built on a simple pattern. Decide faster. Stay consistent longer. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need luck. You just need the courage to decide and the discipline to follow through again and again. That's how the rich keep growing. That's how legacies are built. And that's how you turn thought into wealth. One decision, one disciplined day at a time. Chapter 7. The Wealth Network. Why connections determine your net worth. From Think and Grow Rich in the Modern World by Imperium Audiobooks. In every modern story of wealth, there's a hidden thread running quietly behind the scenes, a thread that ties opportunities, ideas, and access together. That thread is people. The truth is, no one builds wealth alone. Behind every successful entrepreneur, investor, or creator stands a network. Mentors, partners, investors, advisors, collaborators. Your connections determine your trajectory. And in today's hyper-connected world, your network is your new currency. You can be brilliant, disciplined, and hardworking, but if you're isolated, you'll always hit a ceiling. Because money flows through relationships. The law of association. There's a timeless principle that says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's cliché because it's true. Every time you enter someone's environment, you absorb their energy, habits, and mindset. Spend enough time around winners, and you start to think like one. Spend enough time around complainers, and soon you'll have a reason to complain too. Wealthy people are ruthless about who they allow to influence their thinking. They guard their inner circle like treasure, not because they're arrogant, but because they understand that environment shapes evolution. If you surround yourself with mediocrity, you normalize it. If you surround yourself with greatness, you're forced to rise to it. The poor network versus the wealth network. Here's the real contrast. Poor networks talk about people. Average networks talk about problems. Wealth networks talk about possibilities. The poor compete with each other. The wealthy collaborate with each other. In a poor network, success creates envy. In a wealthy network, success creates inspiration. That's why the rich keep winning, because they've built ecosystems that reinforce growth, not self-doubt. The goal is simple. Get into rooms where you're not the smartest, the richest, or the most comfortable, because growth never happens in rooms of comfort. How the rich build their networks. The wealthy don't collect contacts. They cultivate relationships. They treat every connection as a seed that needs to be watered, not a favor waiting to be called in. Here's how they do it differently. They give before they get. Wealthy people lead with value. They ask, how can I help? Not, what can I gain? This flips the energy of every interaction, and people remember that. They follow up relentlessly. Most people meet once and vanish. The rich send thank you notes, share resources, and keep the line warm. That's how relationships compound. They think long-term. They're not chasing quick wins. They're building alliances that can last decades. They curate their circle. They understand that every new connection either amplifies or drains their momentum. Networking isn't about quantity. It's about alignment. Social capital, the invisible asset. Wealthy people think in terms of assets, not just money, but reputation, access, and trust. Your reputation is a form of capital. Every interaction builds or burns it. Social capital means you can pick up the phone, call the right person, and unlock an opportunity others can't reach. You can't fake that. You can't buy it. You earn it through character, credibility, and consistency. That's why integrity matters in business more than ever. In the age of social media, your reputation travels faster than your results. When people trust you, they invest in you, sometimes even before they understand the details. Mentorship, the shortcut to acceleration. One of the fastest ways to upgrade your network is to find a mentor, someone who's already where you want to be. A great mentor saves you years of mistakes. They collapse time by giving you wisdom you can only learn from experience. Theirs, not yours. But mentorship isn't about begging for guidance. It's about earning it through action and respect. Here's how the rich approach mentorship. They study their mentors before approaching them. They apply advice quickly, showing they value time. They bring value in return, even if it's just energy, loyalty, or new perspective. Remember, mentorship is a two-way exchange. The mentor provides direction. The mentee provides proof. The digital advantage. In the modern world, networking doesn't only happen in boardrooms. It happens online. Your personal brand is your business card, portfolio, and reputation rolled into one. The wealthy use digital tools to extend their reach without diluting their authenticity. They share ideas on platforms that attract like-minded people. They create content that positions them as thought leaders. They build communities, not audiences. Your social presence can either open doors or close them. Be intentional about what you post, how you engage, and the energy you give off. Every post is either a bridge or a barrier. Networking rules of the 1%. Here are a few quiet codes the wealthy live by when it comes to connection. Never talk only about yourself. Ask questions, listen deeply, and remember details. Always bring something to the table. It could be insight, humor, a resource, or a perspective. Protect your name. Reputation travels faster than truth. Be reliable. Follow through on promises. That's how trust compounds. Add value in silence. Not every contribution needs recognition. These small principles build magnetic energy. People naturally want to collaborate with those who elevate every interaction, turning your network into opportunity. Once you've built genuine connections, the next step is learning to activate them with integrity. Here's how. Collaborate, don't compete. Look for ways to create synergy. Partnerships amplify reach and reduce effort. Leverage collective knowledge. Join masterminds, peer groups, or communities where everyone shares expertise freely. Give public credit. The fastest way to strengthen a bond is to acknowledge someone's value in front of others. Keep expanding. Never get too comfortable in one circle. Each level of growth requires new associations. The poor hoard connections. The rich circulate them. Because every person you introduce to someone else strengthens the invisible web of opportunity, and your name becomes the link people remember. Protecting your circle. Just as the right people elevate you, the wrong ones can destroy everything you're building. Energy drainers, chronic doubters, emotional manipulators, they're wealth repellents. Learn to say no firmly and guilt-free. You don't owe everyone access to your time, focus, or peace. Boundaries protect blessings. The rich don't apologize for guarding their space because they know their energy is their most valuable investment. Action plan. Build your wealth network. Here's your 30-day plan to start cultivating real wealth relationships. Week 1. Identify 5 people you admire or want to learn from. Study them, follow them, and engage meaningfully. Week 2. Reach out to 2 people in your field. Offer help, share insights, or connect them to someone valuable. Week 3. Attend one event, virtual or physical, and make at least 3 intentional connections. Week 4. Follow up. Check in, express gratitude, and nurture the seeds you planted. Do this monthly, and your environment will start to shift because proximity creates probability. Chapter 8. The Silent Habits of Modern Millionaires. If you walk past most millionaires today, you probably wouldn't recognize them. They don't wear their success loudly. They don't spend their days showing off or chasing validation. The modern millionaire is often silent, not because they're hiding, but because they're focused. In the old world, wealth was signaled through appearance: the mansion, the car, the suit. In the modern world, wealth is built through systems, digital leverage, and emotional control. The loudest person in the room is usually still trying to prove something. The silent one already has the proof. Let's study what makes the quiet rich truly different. Not what they say, but what they do consistently. 1. They master the boring. The average person wants excitement. The wealthy want consistency. Where others chase motivation, millionaires chase systems. They understand that real wealth doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from doing the right thing daily. They automate their savings. They track their cash flow. They reinvest instead of flexing. The poor spend for dopamine. The rich invest for dividends. Building wealth isn't glamorous most days. It's spreadsheets, meetings, planning, and delayed gratification. The modern millionaire understands this truth. You don't have to love the grind. You just have to respect it enough to stay consistent. 2. They protect their energy. You'll notice something else about them. They guard their mental space like a fortress. No endless arguments. No gossip. No unnecessary drama. They understand that mental bandwidth is limited and energy is currency. They choose their circle intentionally. They value quiet mornings. They invest in mental clarity, not chaos. While the average person scrolls for hours, the rich schedule silence. They meditate, reflect, and review their goals. Because clarity isn't found in noise, it's found in stillness. They know A distracted mind can't build an empire. 3. They think in decades, not days. Most people want results this week. Millionaires think in 10-year windows. They understand compound growth, not just in money, but in skill, network, and brand. Every small decision compounds over time. The book you read today shapes how you think next year. The relationship you build now could unlock an opportunity 3 years from now. The business you start with small profits can grow into a legacy. This is where the real magic of wealth lies, in a long game. The modern rich are patient, but not passive. They move fast in execution, but slow in judgment. They don't chase hype, they chase alignment. They let compound interest, automation, and consistency do the heavy lifting. 4. They turn consumption into creation. Look at your screen time. How much of it is passive? Scrolling, watching, consuming content that feeds emotion but not elevation? Modern millionaires flipped the equation. They use technology to produce, not just consume. They write content, build products, share knowledge, and design systems that run while they sleep. They understand that every post, every email, every automation is an asset that can outlive their effort. They don't hate social media, they leverage it. They don't complain about algorithms, they master them. They don't wait for opportunities, they create them through consistent digital presence. That's the new reality of wealth. Leverage the tools that others waste. 5. They don't chase money, they attract it. Money is like attention. The more you chase it, the further it runs. But when you build value and discipline, it finds its way to you. The modern millionaire is not hustling for every dollar. They've built systems that make money inevitable. Their businesses are structured. Their investments are diversified. Their habits are automated. They attract money through reliability, through being the kind of person who delivers results, builds trust, and thinks long-term. They've learned that people don't pay you for effort. They pay you for effectiveness. And effectiveness comes from mastery. 6. They learn. Always. The moment you think you know everything, you've already started falling behind. Every wealthy person I've ever studied has one thing in common: a relentless hunger to learn. They read, listen, and observe. They ask better questions instead of pretending to have all the answers. They invest in mentors, books, and experiences, not to show off, but to grow faster. And here's the secret. The more they learn, the more opportunities they see. Knowledge opens your eyes to possibilities that ignorance hides. While most people complain about no opportunities, millionaires quietly prepare for the next shift. They know that wealth doesn't vanish. It just moves. And those who stay informed stay wealthy. 7. They're obsessed with time freedom. Money is great, but time is priceless. The modern rich are not working to be rich, they're working to be free. They automate income so they can buy back hours. They delegate tasks so they can focus on creation. They measure their life not by how much they earn, but by how much peace they feel. They don't want to own everything. They want to control what matters. They understand that true success is waking up every day with options. 8. They play the inner game better. Finally, the biggest habit, they've mastered the battle of the mind. Every self-made millionaire fought self-doubt, fear, and procrastination. They learned to manage emotions under pressure. They trained their subconscious to believe in abundance, even when their bank account didn't yet reflect it. That's what makes them unstoppable. The world rewards those who stay centered when others panic, who move with calm while others complain, who believe in possibility when others only see risk. This mental strength is the true foundation of wealth, because no system, strategy, or business can save a weak mindset. If you want to build wealth in the modern world, start by building these habits in silence. You don't need to announce them. You don't need to prove anything. Your results will speak louder than your words. The secret is simple. Be so consistent they think it's magic. Because when you stay quiet, focused, and disciplined, wealth becomes inevitable. Chapter 9. Rewiring your mind for inevitable success. You can't build a wealthy life with a poor mindset. You can't live abundantly if your thoughts are chained to limitation. Every millionaire, every visionary, Every great builder of fortune started from one core transformation. They learned how to reprogram their mind. Success doesn't start with money, opportunity, or education. It starts with belief, because your beliefs create your behavior. Your behavior builds your habits, and your habits create your results. So, if you want to change your life, you must first change your mental wiring. Let's talk about how. 1. The brain is not fixed, it's programmable. For decades, people believed the brain was static, that your intelligence, emotions, and abilities were set in stone. But neuroscience shattered that illusion. Your brain is not fixed. It's a living circuit board. It rewires based on what you repeatedly think, say, and do. Every thought you think fires a neural pathway. Every belief you reinforce strengthens that connection. Every action you repeat turns that pathway into a highway. So when you constantly tell yourself, I can't, I'm not ready, I never win, your brain hardwires that limitation. But when you shift your self-talk to, I'm capable, I'm learning, I'm building, you literally rebuild your neural architecture. That's not motivation. That's biology. You're not broken. You're just wired for your past. To change your life, you must install new software. 2. The power of mental rehearsal. Here's something most people never use. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. When you visualize something vividly, with emotion, clarity, and repetition, your brain records it as experience. That's why elite athletes rehearse before they perform. That's why world-class leaders visualize deals before they happen. It's why people who expect success tend to get it. Their mind is already conditioned to receive it. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It's strategic brain training. Spend 10 minutes every day visualizing yourself operating at your best. See yourself walking into that meeting confident, calm, and capable. Feel what it's like to close that deal, to live debt-free, to wake up with gratitude and peace. Don't just think it, feel it, because emotions are the signal boosters of the brain. The more emotion you attach to a thought, the faster your subconscious accepts it as reality. That's how you train your brain to make success inevitable. 3. The subconscious, your silent CEO. Your conscious mind is the captain, but your subconscious is the engine room. It controls 95% of your daily actions automatically. When you brush your teeth, drive a car, type a message, you're running subconscious programs. The same goes for how you think about money, success, or opportunity. If your subconscious believes money is hard to earn, it will sabotage every opportunity that could make you rich. If it believes you don't deserve abundance, it will unconsciously push away anything that looks like success. So how do you reprogram it? By repetition, by emotion, by evidence. Repeat empowering thoughts daily. Feel gratitude for what's working. Celebrate even the smallest wins, because your brain learns through reinforcement. Your subconscious doesn't care what's true. It only believes what's repeated. So feed it wisely. 4. Change your inputs, change your identity. You can't build a new life surrounded by the same noise that built the old one. Your brain is always learning, even when you're not paying attention. Every conversation, every video, every environment, it all feeds your subconscious. That's why rich people guard their inputs. They read more. They consume strategically. They follow mentors instead of distractions. They shape their environment to match their future, not their past. You want to think differently? Then surround yourself with voices that stretch you, not comfort you. Because what you consistently hear, you eventually believe. And what you believe, you eventually become. The truth is simple. Your environment programs you more than your willpower ever could. 5. The identity shift. Here's the deepest part. Success is not something you get, it's something you become. If you still identify as someone struggling, broke, or unlucky, your actions will always align with that story. The way out isn't to fake confidence. It's to upgrade your identity. Start telling yourself a new story. I'm someone who follows through. I'm someone who builds wealth with discipline. I'm someone who attracts the right opportunities. This isn't lying. It's leading your subconscious. Every action you take that aligns with that new identity reinforces it. Every small win, even showing up today, strengthens the new wiring. Over time, your brain stops resisting. It starts cooperating. And that's when success becomes effortless. 6. Emotional mastery, the secret weapon. The wealthiest people aren't the smartest. They're the most emotionally intelligent. They don't let fear, anger, or frustration control their choices. Because emotions create motion. If you can control your emotional state, you can control your direction. Rewiring your mind means learning to pause before reacting, to observe your emotions instead of being ruled by them, to replace panic with patience, to turn fear into focus. This is mental training, and just like physical training, it's built through repetition. Start by noticing your emotions. Name them. Then replace the reaction with a response that supports your future. You'll be amazed how fast your circumstances begin to align with your calmness. 7. Belief engineering. Here's a simple truth. Every belief you hold was taught, repeated, and reinforced, which means it can also be replaced. Rich people are not born with confidence. They built it by challenging the limits they were taught. They question everything. Why not me? Who said it can't be done? What if I try a different way? You can't out-earn your beliefs. You can't outperform your inner story. So if you want new results, build new beliefs. Replace money is evil with money is a magnifier. Replace I'm not ready with I'm learning fast. Replace I always fail with I'm getting closer every time. And repeat it until it becomes truth. 8. The law of mental alignment. Here's the secret all self-made millionaires know. You can't act rich while thinking poor. The mind and body must be aligned, or nothing works. If your vision says wealth, but your thoughts say impossible, your energy cancels itself out. That's why many people work hard but stay stuck. They're mentally out of sync. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, your results follow. So every morning, before you start your day, align yourself. Speak your vision aloud. Feel gratitude. Decide that today, you move like the person you're becoming. Not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. Because your brain doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. Rewiring your mind is not instant. It's not about hype or positivity. It's about repetition, awareness, and discipline. You're not trying to become someone new. You're simply removing the layers that stopped you from seeing who you already were. And once your mind fully believes in your future, the universe has no choice but to match it. Because wealth doesn't begin in the wallet. It begins in the mind. Chapter 10. The New Rules of Riches, Building Wealth That Lasts. The world has changed, and so has the game of wealth. What made people rich 50 years ago won't necessarily make you rich today. The foundations are the same: discipline, vision, consistency, but the rules have evolved. Once, wealth was about land, labor, and legacy. Today, it's about leverage, learning, and longevity. The modern millionaire plays a smarter game, one that combines old-school work ethic with new-age systems. They don't just chase money, they engineer freedom. This chapter is about those new rules, the blueprint for building wealth that not only multiplies but endures. 1. Rule 1. Build systems, not jobs. The old mindset says, work hard, earn more. The new mindset says, build systems that earn for you. True wealth is not how much you make. It's how little your income depends on your effort. If every dollar you earn requires your presence, you're still an employee, even if you own the business. Modern wealth comes from automation and delegation. It comes from creating systems that work even when you rest, digital assets, investments, and scalable offers. The rich don't trade time for money. They build machines that do the trading for them. Ask yourself, can my income grow if I take a month off? If not, your business owns you. The new rule? Build systems that set you free. 2. Rule 2. Invest in knowledge before assets. In the past, people chased property, gold, and stocks. Today, the highest ROI is still, and will always be, knowledge. Your brain is the only asset that compounds infinitely. When you master new skills, you don't just make money, you multiply opportunities. You can lose everything and rebuild if you have the right knowledge. Millionaires read, study, and apply faster than everyone else. They attend courses, listen to mentors, and test what they learn. They don't wait for permission. They self-educate daily. Because in a world changing this fast, ignorance is more expensive than risk. So, before you invest in real estate, invest in your mindset. Before you buy stocks, learn how markets move. Before you start a business, study human behavior. Knowledge is leverage, and leverage builds empires. 3. Rule 3. Turn money into multipliers. The poor spend money to feel rich. The rich spend money to get richer. Every dollar that leaves your hand should either educate you, elevate you, or employ others on your behalf. Millionaires don't hoard, they allocate. They put money into vehicles that multiply. Income-generating assets, digital products, real estate, stocks, ETFs, and funds, personal brands, automation tools. Every purchase is judged by one question. Does this make me stronger financially or weaker? If it weakens, they don't touch it. If it multiplies, they double down. That's how the modern rich compound their advantage, not through luck, but through precision. 4. Rule 4. The power of personal brand. In the new world, attention is currency, and your personal brand is the vault that stores it. You are one video, one book, one product, one message away for financial independence. But here's the key. It's not about fame, it's about trust. Your brand should stand for something: clarity, consistency, and credibility. People don't buy products, they buy stories. They buy certainty. They buy connection. The rich understand this, so they build brand around value. They show up. They give first. They serve their audience with integrity. Your reputation is now your resume. Your online presence is your storefront. And the more you invest in your personal credibility, the faster wealth finds you. 5. Rule 5. Collaboration over competition. The old game was me versus you. The new game is me and you versus the problem. Modern millionaires collaborate. They share information. They build alliances that expand reach and resources. They understand that one strong partnership can do more than a decade of solo effort. Ego isolates. Strategy multiplies. So stop trying to outdo everyone. Start learning from them. Partner with people who bring strengths you don't have. When you collaborate, you grow exponentially, not linearly. Because in the digital economy, network equals net worth. 6. Rule 6. Emotional discipline outweighs financial genius. The market rewards emotional mastery more than mathematical brilliance. Anyone can make money. Few can keep it. The difference? Emotional control. When fear hits, amateurs sell. When hype rises, amateurs overspend. But those who build lasting wealth stay centered, patient during chaos, calm during victory. Wealth is 80% psychology, 20% strategy. If you can't manage your emotions, your bank account will always reflect it. Learn to detach from short-term pain. Hold steady when others panic. And never let emotion override logic. Because the richest investors don't just study charts, they study themselves. 7. Rule 7. Adapt fast or get left behind. Technology is the new market mover. AI, automation, blockchain, global commerce. These are not trends. They're terrain. Modern millionaires don't fear disruption. They expect it. They reinvent faster than others react. They stay curious, adaptable, and agile. They know skills expire. Industries evolve. Wealth shifts to those who move early. So, don't cling to how it's always been. Ask what's next, because the world will reward the adaptable, not the nostalgic. 8. Rule 8. Redefine luxury. The old luxury was consumption, designer labels, fancy cars, big houses. The new luxury is freedom. Freedom of time. Freedom of choice. Freedom of peace. Millionaires today don't care about flexing, they care about feeling. They buy assets, not approval. They seek experiences, not validation. They measure success by how little they need to prove. That's real wealth. Waking up without stress, living with purpose, and knowing you own your life. 9. Rule 9. Legacy thinking. Most people build for survival. The rich build for significance. They think beyond their lifetime, building systems, brands, and families that outlast them. Legacy isn't about monuments. It's about impact. It's about teaching your kids how to think, not what to fear. It's about creating something that keeps growing long after you're gone. When you start thinking legacy, your decisions mature. You stop chasing short-term highs and start building structures that stand decades. Because the richest families didn't just pass down money, they passed down mindsets. 10. Rule 10. Never stop becoming. The greatest rule of all, the one that ties everything together. Never stop evolving. You're the architect of your wealth, and that blueprint must be updated constantly. Grow beyond your comfort zone. Challenge your routines. Invest in your evolution, mentally, emotionally, financially. Because wealth isn't something you get once. It's something you grow into every day. And the moment you stop growing, your riches begin to rot. The world doesn't reward those who wish. It rewards those who adapt, act, and align. The modern rich aren't lucky. They're literate in life. They learned the game, played it with courage, and rewrote their story. So the question isn't whether wealth is possible. It's whether you're ready to think and grow rich in the modern world. Because this is no longer about chasing money. It's about becoming the kind of person money chases. And once you reach that level, you'll never worry about wealth again.